With 3 parts to go, I just want to say thank you for all the support on this mini-series. I'm very pleased with the views and subs I've gained from this. Anyways, let's just get straight into things with number 30. This one's definitely gonna have some head scratches. Darth Maul has always been one of those characters that nobody knows who they want to face. Carnage was considered, but that matchup sucks. Gabranth works, but I've not played FF12. Ridley works too, but I feel like that's more of a DBX matchup than anything. My preferred is Maul versus Scorpion. And yes, I know Hanzo versus Wolf exists, but I've never played Sekiro, so no comment there. Both are warriors driven by vengeance, thanks to the manipulation by a Dark Lord, who led assassin clans and have a deep burning hatred for a blue-themed warrior that resolves itself relatively peacefully. It's simple, but I just really like it. Just having two rage-based combatants go at it is always fun. It allows Brandon to make a banger lyrical track too, and if you want him to have a sentimental moment at the end, you definitely can. I imagine Hanzo would give Maul advice throughout the fight, and since I buy Universal MK, it could end in a similar way to Maul's final canon duel with Obi-Wan. I know it's not that popular, but I hope people can start to see the appeal in it. This is another double returner matchup that really doesn't need to happen since both of their episodes were fan favourites, but I still love Darth Vader versus the Lich King. I'm not even going to try and paraphrase the connections here, so you can go and read it down below. But these two are essentially the same character, just with opposite colour schemes. Arthas's fight against Sauron focused more on the idea of the Lich King, rather than the man behind the mask, which is something I think Vader offers that Sauron didn't. The fight can start with both armies clashing, with Vader being the invader, finding Arthas's arrogance amusing. Of course, this would start as a sword fight, with both realising that their blades alone won't cut it. I like the idea of Arthas resurrecting some stormtroopers to try and throw Vader off, only for him to make quick work of them. Both eventually break the environment to where they require Arthas's Invincible and Vader's TIE Fighter to escape. I also want Vader to kill Invincible to show Arthas genuinely expressing sadness, since he does still care for his horse. We both can enter each other's minds and we can get a scene of them as Anakin and Arthas. This scene is to illustrate the difference between the two, how Vader is a fallen hero who can still be saved, while Arthas is too far gone to come back. Anakin walks away, apologising for the path he's going to take and leaving Obi-Wan and Padme behind. Arthas, meanwhile, would insist that the path he will take is the right one, that nothing is wrong, before killing the past and leaving it to die. I presume Vader wins it, and I like the idea of Arthas failing to take Anakin's soul just to further showcase how human Vader still is, only for him to kill Arthas and just stare down at him. No comment, no reaction, followed by him dropping his lightsaber on his fallen foe, seeing himself within Arthas. There's a lot that can be done here, and I hope at least a cast episode can happen to show how debatable this is. This one, I think, came into popularity because of Biffweed, and I've taken a liking to it. Soldier 76 vs Mr. Incredible is such a cool idea that I've always loved. Taking one of my favourite Overwatch heroes and pitting him against the protagonist of one of my favourite animated films sounds amazing. Both were heroes well known to and adored by the general public, and were seen as the most iconic of their respective groups, until events that were out of control caused the media and the public to turn against them, making Overwatch and superheroes illegal. Both still did illegal hero work in secret, Bob to relive his glory days, genuinely wanting superheroes to return, and Jack because he wants revenge against those that disbanded Overwatch, but doesn't actually want Overwatch to return, believing it's for the best that they don't. Superheroes eventually became legal whilst Overwatch is still illegal. It's a good blend of similarities and contrast that I think could make way for an excellent fight script of their clashing ideologies. I'm not sure how the choreography would look, but I'm sure if the environment is used correctly that something special could be made. The debate here, I honestly don't know, but I've been told it's close enough, which is fine by me. I mentioned a lot earlier wanting to see Spidey return, focusing more on the movie counterparts. When mentioning Comic Peter's possible opponents, I gave two that I don't vibe with, intentionally leaving one out. Peter Parker versus Cole McGrath. I think despite the animation being really good, Liam's writing and Cole's analysis should more than justify Cole getting a rerun. Snarky heroes with a bad reputation and a lot of mental baggage, but they still remain good people, even until the end. Obviously there's more to it than that, so go to the pinned comment for more detailed connections. This one's just fun, and the only Peter matchup I vibe with. There's great track potential. I think there's a decent debate, although I think Cole takes it, which is based. As for the animation, the only way the fight can possibly start is if one character attacks the other due to believing them to be a threat due to their bad reputation. Preferably Peter attacking Cole, as he's the more reckless of the two, and Cole enjoys using his powers, so him not explaining he's one of the good guys would make more sense than the other way around. Similar to Alex vs Cole, the fight can involve a lot of traversal throughout the city and environmental usage, with Peter's first idea being to outrange Cole, but later trying to get closer when he realizes Cole excels at range combat. Of course, given who we're talking about, there's a lot of dialogue potential here too. Maybe Peter could use his fights against Electro as a way of analyzing Cole, whilst Cole uses his fights against more agile opponents like Sasha and Kessler to react to Peter's speed. This could be so much fun if done right. Nothing amazing, but just a good time. Truth be told, this one I don't have a lot to say on. I just vibe with it despite the lackluster connections. Bane vs Doomfist, two street-level powerhouses who use their intelligence to gain the upper hand in combat. They both use their skill sets to try and engulf the world in conflict, as they believe that this will make humanity stronger. It's simple, but it involves two of my favourite characters from their verses, and it was bound to get my attention. Bane's been a favourite of mine since Injustice 2, and the Conde's hype period from 2016 to 2017 was so good. Bring back Overwatch 1. It's a shame I hate playing him in Overwatch 2. There's good lyrical track potential here, a decent enough debate I think, even though I'm confident in a Bane victory, and above all else, it'd make me really happy. Give it a chance. Plus, let's be real, Bane needs a good episode. This one needs zero introduction at this point. Brew vs Megamind. I'll keep it brief since we all know why it's good at this point. Two rival movie villains turned good guys duking it out in style. There's great music potential, fun banter, a great debate, and you can even bring in their armies to duke it out. That's all I have to say really. It's popular, it's fun, it's Brew vs Megamind, you know why it's good, and it's overdue. This is another one where I don't think I have to explain myself too much. Its popularity should speak for itself. Steve versus the Terrarian. I played a lot of Terraria with my friends back on the 360 back in primary school, and Minecraft, well, it may be the most important game ever for me. Even if it's not my favourite, coming in every day after primary school and even high school just to play it with my friends, you really couldn't replicate that feeling if you tried. These two builders turned god slayers have been rivals since they both came out, and I think a death battle could do them both justice. The debate I think is okay, although Terrarian should stomp I think, even though both of their respawns are in fact canon. I think the big challenge preventing this one from happening is the animation. Like, there's plenty you could do with it, with their building, different armors, different environments, but how do you even animate this? I think a hybrid between both would work, with the ending revealing that it was just two kids hopping from game to game, laughing and smiling, recreating the same joy that so many of us felt growing up with these franchises. I think it's a nice way to have an emotional ending without it being sad. Man, I loved that idea so much, and I think it's an original idea for me. I hope this can happen, but I understand if not. Just don't put Steve against Emmett. That is such a horrible matchup, especially when Jesse vs Emmett is 10 times more popular. I've mentioned a few double returner matchups recently. Now, this is one I wish could get more traction. Alex Mercer vs Makima. Two superpowered manipulators and controllers of both people and monsters, both using their powers to try and rid the world of everything they find negative. So, you know, humanity. Both are able to cheat death thanks to one broken ability, Alex's regeneration and Makima's contract with the Prime Minister. Eventually both were defeated by the one monster they couldn't manipulate or control, a massive oversight on both of their parts. It's such a neat matchup. There's great lyrical track potential, and man, the animation here could be insane. Imagine Alex Mercer fighting off and consuming Makima's army of devils. That's such a cool idea. As for the debate, it's really interesting. Going off the research team's logic for both of their recent episodes, the Typhoon Devil, who Makima scales in power to, is weaker than the Supreme Hunter's nuke feat, so Makima couldn't overpower Alex. And yet, Alex could eventually kill himself thanks to the contract, but Makima, to my knowledge, can't bypass Alex's regeneration like Cole could. Funny enough, these two would 100% get along since their goals are the exact same, but this is a death battle and one of them's gotta die. Give it a look if you're interested, because this is definitely my preferred for both, Cole and Gojo included. This is another simple one featuring two of my favourite franchises, Noob Saibot vs Reaper, two black-clad edgy boys who were thought to be dead, but came back with dark powers and a hatred towards a blue-themed hero that they used to be close to, losing any honour that they once had. Two of my favourites from both franchises, even if Reaper at the moment feels a bit lackluster in Overwatch 2. I'll be honest and say there's no debate here. Even if you don't buy Universal Bihan, which I absolutely do since every character beat Chronica at some point in the infinite timelines, as Liu Kang states, the real meat here is how over the top and edgy you can have dialogue be, while still showcasing just how ruthless the two can be. Plus, we all know Brandon would make a great heavy metal track. It's simple, fun, and it's a stomp. Yet another popular one that doesn't need an introduction at this point is Kyle Rayner vs Simon the Digger. Like Groove vs Megamind, I don't need to explain the appeal here. Everything from the debate, the track, the visuals, the connections, it's all here. After watching it 2 years ago, I really like Gurren Lagann, and I wish it and the movies were on Crunchyroll so I could rewatch them. I also grew up reading Jeff Johns' Green Lantern comics, so the White Lantern, Blackest Night, Brightest Day, them storylines, very sentimental for me. I'm confident that if Season 11 does happen, we're going to get this, and I can't wait. I know some of these were very brief, but a lot of these were popular matchups, so I assume it speaks for itself at this point. Regardless, I hope you took a liking to at least one matchup here, and as always, stay safe and be excellent to each other.